Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Fantasy Forecast for Thursday, January 19th, 2017. Scores behind me. I know I don't show you full lineups anymore. I didn't even do a video yesterday. I didn't have a chance. 9-game slate. News hitting so fast at the lock it wasn't even funny. I barely got lineups out to my subscribers in time. We won, thankfully, on cash. We hit a 277. We put Westbrook in at the last minute and avoided some of the disasters that went around. I mean, to see cashing scores like this on a 9-game slate, guys, you got to be kidding me. It's just like, what? 255 on my GPP, not good at all. Yesterday, the day before, I think that was the last time I had a video out. Before that, 335 on that one, so one across the board there, hit quintuples and everything. It was a nice day. Let's move on to today. Alright, so I don't do cash lineups anymore. If you have issues or that, you need lineups, talk to me on Twitter. I'll explain everything. I can't go through it over and over like that, but let's go ahead and go through what we have as options for today on a little 5-game slate. And you have 2 blowouts on it, which makes it a little bit tougher to choose from and pick from. Let's be honest, it's going to be a rough day today. If you're not playing light today, man, there's no hope for bankroll management for you. That's all I'm saying. Because this is a day where you look at it and you're like, God, so many different things could go happen in this. What if Denver hung with San Antonio and it wasn't a blowout or something? You know, game flow is going to change the game scripts around day, and having more variance on shorter slates makes this far more difficult, especially when you look at the point guard position just to start out. I mean, as we get towards the end, power forward and center are just horrible positions today, but at point guard, you got Wall at the upper limits of price that you want to pay. 10-2. Yeah, he's got great usage, but that's so expensive for what he does. Let's just be honest. Paul out, so you're like, I'm going to go to Rivers, I'm going to go to Felton. They're 55 and 5,600. Irving against Phoenix at 84. Bit pricey, especially if the team's fully there, and they're expected to be. Bledsoe might be looking okay on the other end. Dragic against Dallas, I'm not into that. Rubio against the Clippers, well, yeah, now the point guard position is worse, but you're getting to the upper limits of what I want to pay for Rubio. He's good and he's bad, and there's no middle ground, and that's horrible for a cash game. Deron Williams against Miami, pass. Rose against an amazing performance, he just hit his ceiling, that's point chasing, pass. Tyler Johnson against Dallas, pass. You got your Rivers and Felton combo where I think a lot of people are going to land today. If you're going to pick one, I don't know if I would pick one, honestly. This is a tough position to choose from. And this is where I'm running into, I'll have a lineup for my subs today, but this is a play light day in the end, no matter what. There's a lot of different permutations that can go down. I suppose, look at Parker. I know you hate the name Tony Parker, but 4,700 against a team that's just horrible against the point guard. And he's relatively consistent. The price is cheap. You're probably going to get yourself a nice 25 points. So if you can take that and be happy and not worry that you're rostering Tony Parker, you can grab your quarter and move on for that slot. Personally, I'll be looking at Rivers and Felton. I would probably choose Rivers at the moment, thinking, hey, it's the coach's son. He's going to get decent run. Unless he got injured. And that's your point guard position. Honestly, it's just really ugly. Farther down, I can check it, but there's just nothing there. Patty Mills, the second string does good for San Antonio, but if you're looking at Baker today, don't. The guy seriously had more. It's really hard to get negative FanDuel points, but he pulled it off last night. Under 11 minutes as a starter. If you think that's a secure starter role, well then, probably want to rethink your basketball. Part of that is Denver. They don't know what they're doing there either. One of those perennial teams like Phoenix and the Magic where they just love to jack the minutes around with everyone. Beal, love it at the top of the board on a weak shooting guard position. That's your top spend up choice. Beal, fine. Booker, fine. Levine, even fine. Go ahead because you don't have a lot of choices. Waiters jacks up a lot of shots, but he's against Dallas. It's going to be tougher. Technically, he can really exceed value. He could be a 40-point dude today, but he could just as easily be a 20. A massive GPP pick if I ever saw one. Waiters. Barton, far more secure. The guy looks steady with all the injuries that have hit in Denver now. Even against San Antonio, you're looking at a nice 35 minutes. I think Barton's probably the way you're going to go today and start to solidify your lineups around. Other than Barton going farther down, you got Reddick with the whole Clippers situation you can look at. And then you can go cheaper too. Korver might pick up some threes if you think he's hot on threes today. That's what they brought him in for, and he's getting enough run where if he hits his threes, you'll be happy. Courtney Lee, I'm not so sure that's going to continue today, where his 38 minutes of run are just the same thing, but they are really beat up over in New York, so it's possible. Courtney Lee would be on my radar for GPPs. And believe it or not, Ginobili and Green as well. I think one of those two shooting guards is going to do well against Denver today. It's just one of those higher paced games, and one where Denver kind of focuses a little bit more on the names and, like the Leonards, and they end up letting guys like that go a bit. That's your shooting guard position today. At your small forward, this is the only spot you can spend today, and you can enjoy it. And you can also spend down. It's a deep small forward position today. James against Phoenix, sure. Been a little cold lately, but a faster paced game, and he can get it done. Leonard, it's really pricey now. He's at the top of the range, but he's got an ideal matchup. If you find the salaries fitting there, no problem taking Leonard. And you can double spend at small forward today if you need to spend up on your lineups. Melo, yes, Porzingis out. You're going to see a bump as used. I mean, you can kind of wash the last game off and just go with the averages. Melo's in a good spot. Wiggins is a good scorer against the Clippers. I don't think you're going to find any lack of options at the small forward today. I mean, what it's really going to come down to is, do you see any must-grabs at all, like values and stuff? And as I go through the list, I see one. They have not adjusted Kuz yet, and the guy is getting starter run. So, if you need to double spend, I understand he goes, but at this moment, I love Kuz, and he's locked into my lineups for a starting base. After that, for small forward, you're down at minimums, so there's not much you can do. Oh, I didn't mention it, shooting guard over at minimums. You got Jamal Crawford too. Forgot to talk about that, but at 3,500, and with the Clippers situation where it is, that's obviously a consideration too. At power forward today, Jokic, not too expensive against San Antonio. No way. I will not take that at this price. And I've been enjoying the Jokic train. This is where I'd step off. Love, questionable. Griffin out. Aldridge is like your first spend-up option for real. And against Denver, it's not bad. You're worried about blowout risk, though, and it's Aldridge. So this is not my first choice to spend up. Honestly, the power forward position is just a really tight position today. You're not going to be happy. Center gets worse, guys. Johnson, good scoring performances, but say over the last 5. He's a bench player. At any moment, the minutes can disappear. So, yeah, if you're forced to, okay. It almost looks like you're looking at Markieff Morris, Dieng, Farid, because they're so beat up, he's probably still going to get the run even with the big price bump he's seen. So, Spates, because there's going to be some more run with the Clippers, and he loves to jack up shots. And maybe cheaper, maybe Chris if he happens to get some run like he did in the last game against Cleveland. I find the whole position very difficult to choose from today, and I can't recommend a power forward here. Part of the reason why I'm saying, center is light. I've gone through the positions some, but that's not a place where I'm starting to build my lineups. I'm building at those 3 there, really, and Rivers is still a question mark, too. At your center today, and this is where it gets ugly. Towns is overpriced, but I don't know if you're going to find, you might need to spend it anyways. Whiteside, 8,700 on Dallas, no thank you. DeAndre Jordan really needs Paul or someone else to give him some more scoring opportunity, pass, at 82. Gasol against Denver, well, maybe, but there's question marks there on the minute run in of itself. Gortat at least will get run, but he doesn't do a lot with it. The center position is just ugly down the board today, and I am not kidding you guys. I look at the center position and I'm just like, I want to cry. And you can look at O'Quinn again. Maybe he gets the run because he didn't get it in the last game, so of course they're going to give him 35 minutes this game, But, he could get boned again. He could get just 10 minutes. So unless he's announced as a starter, I don't like O'Quinn. And even if he is announced as a starter, apparently that didn't matter last game. I think people will be on Hernan Gomez today, and maybe you want to escape the position cheap. That's certainly a possibility. But Hernan Gomez basically split the time with Plumlee, of all people. So, calling what Hornacek's going to do there is going to be incredibly difficult today. And it could probably be a key to really crushing GPPs today. But for a cash game, I'm more inclined just to stay off of it entirely. At the center positions, grudgingly, I would take Towns just because I don't see where else you go. And I want to kind of give 4 positions on each lineup that I do for you guys, so you don't have to fill in everything else on the rest. But just note from my words here, this is a tough day. You should definitely be playing light. Play it more just like, hey, I just want to have fun, just have something going, and keep a lot of your balance for tomorrow when we have a big slate, a big run of options, and not so many question marks even on the value opportunities. I mean, normally you could run into this and be like, I'm going to take Kyle Quinn. He got 25 minutes in the last game. He sucked a bit, but he'll do better because he got the run. We can't even say he got the run. So, I mean, if you're not thinking about the minutes behind every player that you're playing, go back to the drawing board. Or do that now. Every lineup you have, you should be looking at how many minutes a person gets as well as the points, because minutes equals opportunity. That's why we worry about pace. When you play a team like Dallas and you have just 5 fewer possessions, if you're Russell Westbrook, it hurts your score. That's what pace does in a game. When you get 5 more possessions and you play a game like Phoenix, you end up with a touch more. It's just what happens. And you can even factor out blowouts that way sometimes. Some people can become matchup proof if the salaries haven't done right. Find the value, look carefully, and on days like today when you know it's not really out there, and it's probably not going to crop up towards the end, I don't see a lot of it today, stay light. It makes sense. Okay, that's it for Fantasy Forecast for Thursday, January 19th, 2017. You can give me a thumbs up if you like today's video. I appreciate it. Again, if you have questions about getting full lineups, you have to talk to me on Twitter. My Twitter link is in the description. You can send me a direct message there and I'll explain what's going on. Can't do it anymore. I had to sell them because other people were selling them, so I had no choice. Hey, the clients are happy, and I undercut everyone else. It works. But that's it. Thank you all for supporting me in that manner. Thank you for supporting the channel and subscribing. And thank you so much for spending a small portion of your day with me today. I hope you go out there and go win some big money today.